Hi guys, Frank here with Build Your Own, and today we're going to do a walk around features and configurations review of the 2020 Chevrolet Malibu sedan. This particular example that we're looking at today is a 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan LT in Summit White. Real quick before we get started, I did a build and price review of the 2019 Chevrolet Malibu. Actually, I did the Premier, which is the top tier that comes with leather. So if you're interested in that review, I'll go ahead and put a link up in the corner to that video right now, and I'll put a link down in the description below. So after you watch this video, make sure you watch that video on the 2019. It is a 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan. I just got done telling you that I did a build and price review of the 2019. That's relevant because they haven't really done any changes to the 2020. They renamed some packages. I think they discontinued the hybrid version, and that's really about it. So if you're interested in a 2020, you're certainly going to be interested in a 2019. So like I said, take a look at that video of the 2019. I did the Premier version, which comes with a leather interior. So I've been driving this 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan around for a few days, and honestly, there's really nothing wrong with this sedan. It rides pretty well on the highway, and it has a roomy cabin that's fitted with a pretty easy to use infotainment system, which we'll check out a little bit later on. Like its competitors, the 2020 Chevy Malibu can be equipped with different powertrains. There are two turbocharged 4-cylinder engine options, a base 1.5 liter and a 2-liter engine. I like the zesty 2-liter engine, but it's the base 1.5 liter engine, which is what we're looking at right here, that's often most found on dealer lots, unless you get a Premier. The Premier trim level is the only Chevy Malibu that comes with that 2-liter turbo engine. On the inside, there's roomy seating up front, but there's less rear leg room compared to what you find in some other top midsize sedans. And the overall cabin aesthetic, well, it's okay, but it is a bit underwhelming. Like, for instance, I don't know what this material is right here, but I'm not really feeling that. I think it would have been better if they would have done like this faux leather instead of whatever this material is here on across the dash. It's all across the dash over there, and it's all on the door panel down here. I mean, you got a lot of plastic down here. They could have gone a long way with throwing some of that armrest faux leather here instead of that material. So this is the infotainment system inside the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan. GM Chevrolet 3-link system features useful smartphone integration and big graphics, but its standard display looks lower res than the competition. Now you can use it's touchscreen, and I guess it works okay and all that there, but I think it's okay, but I guess compared to some competitors, they're definitely outclassing it. So if that matters to you, well, then it's going to matter to you how this screen looks. So this is the infotainment system inside the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan, and the report on this infotainment system is mixed too, as an also. GM Chevrolet 3-link system features useful smartphone integration and big graphics, but its standard display looks lower res than the competition. Now you can use it's touchscreen, and I guess it works okay and all that there, but I think it's okay, but I guess compared to some competitors, they're definitely outclassing it. So if that matters to you, well, then it's going to matter to you how this screen looks. I think overall, the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan is an acceptable choice for a brand new car, especially if you manage to get a great deal. I think the MSRP on this LT is somewhere around $27,000. That's a lot of money for a car that's got a lot of interior plastic. That 1.5 liter engine, it's okay. Like I said, I've been driving this thing for the weekend or for a couple of days, and that 1.5 liter engine is okay, but honestly, that transmission, it just feels like it surges sometimes a little bit when it gets going. So, I mean, $27,000 is a lot of money to pay for a very average sedan, right? And especially when you're competing against cars like the Honda Accord, the Hyundai Sonata, and the Mazda 6, all of which I've done build and price reviews of, and I've put those links down in the description below. So there's several trim levels of the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan. So let's talk about them. This is a 5-seat sedan, it seats 5 people. It's got 4 doors, as you can tell. It's a midsize sedan, and it's available in 5 trim levels. The base trim level is called an L, and then you got an LS, and then you have an RS, which is a little more sporty, and then you have the LT, which this model is, and then there's the top tier Premier. Now, the Premier is my favorite one. Why? Well, because it gets leather interior, and it gets that 2-liter engine, and I think it might get 19-inch wheels, but we'll get into the features of each trim level here in just a second. Let's talk about some horsepower numbers for that base 1.5-liter engine. That engine makes 160 horsepower, and it makes 184 pound-feet of torque. And here's why I don't probably like that transmission. It's got one of those CVT transmissions, which stands for continuously variable transmission, and maybe that's why I don't like the way it starts off in the beginning. So maybe nothing's wrong, I just don't like the way they are. Okay, so I said we were gonna go over all the different features for each trim level. So I said the base model is called an L. The L trim level is the base model. It starts at $22,095, and it comes with the bare necessities, such as air conditioning, and extras such as steering wheel controls, keyless entry and ignition, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto integration. Now, the LS, the RS, and the LT, which this one is, all feature increasing levels of content based off of the base L model. Okay, so moving up from the base model L, you have the LS. The LS has an MSRP of $23,220, and it adds some creature comforts such as noise reducing glass and OnStar, but it really just paves the way for some option packages, honestly. Okay, so above that LS is this LT trim level. So the LT trim level, it's $26,620 for the LT trim level, all right? But you do get satellite radio, you get front seat heating, you get dual zone climate control, and you get a rear vent for the rear seat passengers, which might not seem like a big deal, but you know what? If you're sitting here in the back in the winter and it's super cold, or in the summer and it's super hot, and you don't have a vent, it really helps to actually have a vent. So you got to go all the way up to the 3rd trim level before Chevrolet will put a vent in the back seat of this Malibu. So last but not least, there's that top tier trim level called the Premier. All right, the Premier is the one that I like. I figure this car, I think to make it all that it can be, you gotta get it with leather interior, you gotta get it with the 2-liter engine, so you gotta get the Premier if you're gonna get this thing at all. That costs, however, $33,320, so it's a really big jump over this LT. And that's why I said, hey, if you really like this car and maybe you might want a Premier, then check out a 2019 Premier, because they haven't made any changes over the 2020. They didn't make any new changes for 2020. And I did a build-in price of a 2019 Chevy Malibu Premier. And that's the one that I would definitely get with the leather. So you get that 2-liter turbo engine, so it makes 250 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. And it gets a 9-speed transmission, not this CVT junk. So you get a Premier that's got the better engine, you get maybe some 19-inch wheels on this thing, you tint the windows, you get the spoiler that comes with that you can get, and now you got yourself a nice car. Now, sure, it's gonna set you back going on $35,000, but it's gonna be the nicest Malibu, and most people probably have Malibus that have cloth and not leather. So in addition to that 2-liter engine that you get with the Premier, the feature content is kind of similar to that LT, but yeah, you get the leather seats, you get a sunroof, which this car doesn't have, you get a 9-speaker audio system, and you get built-in navigation. Let's go over the exterior colors, actually. Let's go over the exterior colors for the 2020 Chevy Malibu midsize sedan. This color here is Summit White, which I actually like a lot. Other colors include Stone Gray Metallic, Silver Ice Metallic, Shadow Gray Metallic, North Sky Blue Metallic, Mosaic Black Metallic. Then they have a Cajun Red tint coat, which I actually like that color too. And last but not least, they have a Black Cherry Metallic, which is kind of a red. So it's true, the interior of the 2020 Chevy Malibu is not fancy, but it's comfortable and it's ergonomic, And you know what? This car only has 7,000 miles on it, or about 7,800 or something like that, and it smells really, really good. What's not to like about the smell of a new car? So, I mean, this car it's nice. Like I said, it'd be a lot nicer with leather interior, and I think that would go a long way to make it competitive against the Honda Accord and the Hyundai Sonata, the Toyota Camry, and all of that. Okay, so before we wrap this video up, let's just kind of have a walk around and like check out everything. So first things, that doesn't have a power mirror, but it looks like you can probably, yep, you can manually fold the mirror, so that's cool. This car has keyless entry and ignition, as long as you have the key fob in your pocket, which I do have the key fob right here. Also, what's cool is that this car has remote start. If you just press and hold that center button, that's remote start. So I love remote start. That's actually pretty nice. We've got power mirrors, power side mirrors on both sides. You got fully powered door windows, power door locks. You've got a power driver seat here on this LT. This car actually has some really nice daytime running lights on it. It's got the digital speedometer. Hold on, you got to see this. It's got the digital speedometer. Can you see that? It's got the digital speedometer there. If you watch this channel, you know that I love digital speedometers, and the heads-up display, which this car does not even have an option for a heads-up display. You've got the infotainment. You've got heated seats and everything like that. I love the digital readout here. You got your traction control. You can shift this transmission, but I thought I was shifting it. I didn't feel anything, so that's, to me, useless. I've got the AC on really light right now, and the AC works fantastic. Glove box, it's not very deep. It's not very deep in there. It's not very deep in there. Like I said, I'm not really complaining about this interior. It's nothing fancy. I mean, there's a lot of hard plastic here, and this material, they could have certainly got rid of this material, but it's okay. You got vanity mirrors for both the passenger and the driver as well. So this is like a information display, and I think you can, yeah, you can go through different things: average vehicle speed, fuel range, trip computer. There's a lot of stuff. Battery volt, so you can move over. I just moved from trip over to vehicle, then you can move over to eco. So under vehicle, there's, look, the tire pressure. And here's what I always talk about. I actually like this tire pressure. It's nice because it tells you the actual pressure in each wheel. So when it tells you that you have a low tire, you'll actually be able to see at a glance which tire is actually low. There's oil pressure, air filter life, remaining oil life, speed warning. You can do your units, coolant temperature, yeah, and then the eco, fuel economy, and all that kind of stuff. So under trip, yeah, there's the speed digital speedometer, which I love. So yeah, this car's been idling for a while. It idles great. The AC works fantastic. It doesn't use much gas, so it's definitely economical on the gas front. It's not a bad looking car. I mean, if this is what you can get, I mean, it's not a bad looking car. I'd probably have to put some wheels on it or something, but yeah, it's nice. Cup holder in the door, and like a really usable cup holder. I'm not into that stuff, but you got one. Then you got the dog bone cup holder right there. You got a little slot down there. I have my phone right there. That holds a phone really good. This looks like it would be a wireless charging pad, but I don't think that it is. But you do, if you can see under there, there's some USB and an aux and all of that, and your 12-volt power outlet for all that. You got your cubby down here in the armrest, which is actually quite deep. There's no kind of like aux hookups or anything like that, or USBs under there. Sometimes there are in some manufacturer cars. Moving to the back, right, it looks like they got some kind of cup holder there, but it's kind of under the armrest, so I don't know how big of a cup you're gonna actually get in here. What's cool is like these little things, look at that comes out. So when stuff gets on here, like it inevitably does, all kinds of crud and junk, you can actually clean it out. Back seats, they're nothing exciting, but they're probably relatively comfortable. I haven't sat back here and really don't plan to. You got your pockets back here for putting stuff in there. These seats do fold down, right? These seats do fold down. You got a armrest with another dog bone cup holder in there. So yeah, it's actually not too bad in here. I don't have the exact cubic feet of storage for this trunk, but it's deep back here. You can put a lot back here. You can definitely get some big luggage back here. You could definitely throw some golf bags back here. Not that I care about golf, but since everybody always references that, you could definitely get 3 sets of clubs back there for sure. The wheels aren't bad, right? They're not bad. They're riding on some Goodyear all-season tires. Looks like the driver's side on the LT is still manual. Still manual adjustments on the passenger side seat is still manually adjusted. So yeah, this is the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan. It's a nice regular average car. And like I said, if you wanted to make it exciting, you definitely got to get it with leather interior. You got to get it with the Premier. You got to go with the 2-liter engine. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up of the 2020 Chevy Malibu sedan. If you found this walk-around features review helpful, informative, or entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, down in the description, I put links to the 2019 build-in price I did of this car, the 2018 build-in price I did of the Malibu. I also put the Honda Accord, the Hyundai Sonata, the Toyota Camry, other cars that you probably are interested in if you're interested in this Malibu. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm going to tell you to have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the very next video. Thanks for watching.